Well, ladies and gentlemen, the inevitable has happened, and that is that the shooter of Charlie Kirk has now been identified. Now, I did say this morning when I made my first video that at that point in time, the shooter was not yet known. According to the police, they had a high degree of certainty as to who they thought the suspect was, but they weren't yet prepared to say who the actual suspect is. Now, Donald Trump broke news this morning on a morning show chat show that apparently the police had taken the individual into custody, and you can watch that clip right here.
Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else, but I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But
So what do we know so far? Well, the suspect is a Tyler Robertson, age 22, a resident of Washington, Utah. He's apparently a student at Utah Valley University where the shooting took place. And he lives in a $600,000 six-bedroom home in Washington, Utah. It's around 260 miles from the shooting site. Now, he was arrested on Tuesday night around 11 p.m. in southern Utah after a day and a half of the manhunt. Now, it turns out that Tyler was actually turned in by his father, a 27-year-old veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Department. Now, Robertson confessed directly to his father, who then contacted authorities and secured his son's arrest.
Clarification, so a pastor was able to turn him in, or they got the family of the shooter to turn them in?
Well, it was a minister, and the minister went to a minister who was involved with law enforcement, by the way. And his good friend is a top U.S. Marshal, and they took it from there. And then it was a father got involved, namely his father, and said, "We got to go in." And they, so I understand it. And again, subject to change, but you know, the facts are the facts. We have the person that we think is the person we're looking for. But they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
Did the father know about what the son had done?
I don't know. I'm going to let you get all those questions later because I can't tell you how accurate. The bottom line is they have somebody that they think did it.
So, Mr. President.
Now, the mother, Amber Robertson, is employed by Intermountain Support Coordination Services and is a state contractor helping disabled people receive care. Now, as you know, the shooting took place on Wednesday afternoon at a Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University. Now, Kirk was answering questions when the shooter shot him. Now, he fired from around 200 yards away on top of the building, considered to be a sniper's nest, and chaos ensued, with hundreds of students fleeing and eyewitnesses describing the panic and the blood. Now, surveillance footage showed a suspect leaping from the rooftop and fleeing into the neighborhood. Now, 2 innocent people were initially detained but later released, and you've probably seen the videos of those individuals. Now, the FBI's director, Kash Patel, later confirmed that neither individual were connected and offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to the capture. Now, Trump revealed on a Fox News interview that a close family member's tip led to Robertson's arrest, but this was later confirmed to be Robertson's father. Now, according to the latest news, Trump has said that he wants Tyler to face the death penalty if convicted. The motive has not yet been established, but to be honest, no one really cares at this point in time. And many individuals asked me in my last video how I knew it wasn't the Israelis and Mossad. And many individuals also asked me how I knew it was a leftist. Well, it doesn't take a large amount of deductive reasoning. Charlie Kirk had no known enemies on the right. He wasn't really a divisive figure that went around sleeping with prostitutes and causing upset in the family. So if you start looking at the motives, just to say, well, who would want him dead? Well, the left say they want him dead, and they've been very vocal on that. Initial news was that the rifle had been found with forms of LGBT slogans engraved on the sides of bullets. This, again, doesn't take a huge genius to figure out that this is a left-wing individual who had probably been radicalized and had shot Charlie Kirk. This is called deductive reasoning. It's not hard to see. Yes, there's a probability that the deductive reasoning may be faulty and you may come to the wrong conclusion, but let's be honest, all we really needed to know was how had the left responded to the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and that told you everything you needed to know. So, is Robertson a leftist deranged lunatic? Well, we don't yet know, so let's be very clear on that. We don't yet know whether he has or has not yet been indoctrinated into left-wing dogma and become a radical left-winger. We don't yet know. But what we do know is that he's a university student at college age from an affluent family. And so what we can deduce from this is that in typical fashion, we have seen numerous college students at this age become indoctrinated and become radicalized in college. In fact, Charlie Kirk wrote a whole book on this. So the reality is that the chances that this is yet another example of it is, well, at this point in time, probably more than 50%. On balance of probabilities is probably about right. So what we do know so far is that it's a 22-year-old college student who shot Charlie Kirk and not Mossad. So, I mean, it was never going to be Mossad. Like, what the hell does Mossad care? Charlie Kirk is just like some social media influencer. I'm sure they've got bigger problems to worry about. Like, I don't know, Spain suggesting they wish they had nuclear weapons to bomb Israel or something.
España, como saben, no tiene bombas nucleares, tampoco tiene portaaviones ni grandes reservas de petróleo. Nosotros solos no podemos detener la ofensiva israelí, pero eso no significa que no vayamos a dejar de intentarlo, porque hay causas por las que merece la pena luchar, aunque no esté en nuestras únicas manos ganarlas.
In any case, that's the latest news. Got nothing else for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice that they finally got the shooter. Whether or not we'll find out more details in the coming days, I'm pretty certain that we will, and I'll keep you updated as and when it happens. Until next time, bye.